It's great to be with you here today, man. It's a privilege for me to sit with you and Cameron and talk to you a little bit about your time at Fuqua, your time with Duke. And so, where does the journey start, man? So, talk to me how you fell in love with basketball.
Oh man, ever since I can remember, I always had a ball in my hands. Youngest of three brothers, and my dad played at Cal, and so it was kind of always the thing we did. Crazy enough, the last night I actually spent with my father before he passed away was at a Stanford basketball game in January of 2010. And after he passed away, my brother and I kind of made it our lifelong goal that we were going to find a way to live on his legacy and play basketball in college, kind of in his memory. Didn't always look like it would work out. My brother, who also is a Fuqua grad, he was really hurt in high school. Ended up getting into Stanford as a normal student and was a practice player, and then became a manager. And I was recruited by various places and could have gone and played somewhere more. But my brother being at Stanford, I kind of had this blind optimism that somehow we'd find a way to make it work, like we always have. And went there, and my freshman year, he turned into a practice player from a manager, and then eventually made the team. Yeah. When we got to play together for 3 years, and then he came to Fuqua, I guess it was 2 years ago. And then when I had the opportunity to transfer somewhere after I graduated from Stanford, similar thing happened. Like I could have gone somewhere and played more, but just following family kind of in this dream we had together to come. Obviously, Duke basketball, and Duke's an incredible place, and the academic rapport of Fuqua is top notch. But to be able to share that experience here with my brother as well, it's pretty cool. And then, I guess played Stanford in an ACC game the other day, and ended the game with a dunk against my former team. It's like a pretty cool full circle moment from the experience with my brother and my father, 15 years ago to this. Just grateful for the journey, for sure.
Yeah, we were rooting you on. We were erupting in the Misuraca household. So let's go back to the Stanford days. So getting into Stanford as a normal student, you're not normal getting into Stanford, right? Talk to me a little bit about kind of where your work ethic and this idea to pursue excellence at the highest level academically and athletically, where did that start?
Yeah, for sure. I think while family is a massive value for me, another one's intellectual curiosity. They always wanting to do more. And so I've always been wanting to learn. I'm also competitive as well, so I want to do the best in all my classes or whatever. And from a young age, my mom always instilled in me the importance of academics, right? She never really talked about sports, but if my grades weren't top tier, then it was all right, now you can't go play, practice or whatever. So I always knew how to take care of things in the classroom. And while I was getting recruited by different places too, Ivy League schools or whatever, and Stanford eventually at the end, going into my senior year, it was easy to get distracted by schools where, I could have played more or something like that. But my mom really focused on it's not a 4-year decision, it's a 40-year decision.
Yeah.
So kind of narrowed it down to some Ivy League schools in Stanford, and then, kind of my brother being there pushed it over the edge, I guess.
Well, hearing you on the Brotherhood podcast, you and Caleb talk about you don't say no to Duke. So talk to us a little bit about how Duke and Fuqua kind of came into the equation.
Yeah, for sure. So because of COVID, and I redshirted my freshman year, I had 2 years eligibility left when I left Stanford. And my goal, again, was this is a long-term decision for me. I wanted to see if it was possible to get my MBA somewhere while still playing basketball. And really, I didn't really know how feasible it would be, just because I don't think anyone's really tried to do that at all. But it's crazy. I entered the transfer portal, and I was still thought I'd probably end up coming back to Stanford. I got into a 1-year master's program there. But it just happened so fast. Within 2 weeks, I'd never been to Duke before in my life. And I got connected with Coach Shire, and they kind of needed an older guy in the locker room to teach these, fantastic, incredible freshmen what it takes to win at the highest level and how to prepare. And the ability to do that combined with, attend Fuqua and all the good things I'd heard about that. While it might have seemed fun to go, try and score more, play somewhere else where I'd be, a focal point of the team on the court, I just felt like I don't know, Duke just felt like a natural right choice for me. It's hard to say no to, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome getting to know you, Neal. And one of the things I've learned about you is just your desire to be part of something bigger than you. Yeah. And you talk about this being a 40-year decision for yourself and your own kind of intentionality and personal ambition. Talk a little bit about how that factored in the equation of why Duke at this point in your life.
Yeah, for sure. I really just want to challenge myself. I knew coming to Duke from a basketball perspective, this is the historical best program in the country. And so I knew I'd be pushed in my role to be a leader and to try and help these younger guys. It wouldn't be easy, right? The scrutiny and lights that our guys are underneath is unlike anything else. So I knew like that would be very difficult for me to kind of start from scratch and build my role, as well as in the classroom, right? I'm with people that are much older than me, that have work experience. Well, I do as well, but like have been years and years in the workforce. And so I don't know, just felt like I'm going to be tested every single day. And that's why I feel like you grow. If I'm the smartest person in the room, if I'm the best basketball player, if I'm the oldest person, like I feel like that's a disadvantage. So I wanted almost the opposite of that. And I feel like Fuqua is the incredible part about Duke and Fuqua. Like it lets you push yourself to be able to learn and grow as much as you can. So that's probably one of the most incredible things about my experience so far. Yeah.
So I'm going to give you an opportunity here for those of you that might be watching this. Neal's incredibly versatile. You know, almost like a Swiss pocket army knife. He's excelled everywhere and everything he does. In the classroom, he's setting the tone with the GPA. He's one of the old hats on this basketball team that is, you know, maybe as of this week ranked #1 in the country, with the crazy following here in Durham, but also everywhere you go on the road.
Yeah.
You want to make an impact and a difference. And you've had an opportunity to do that in the classroom. You've had an opportunity to do that on the court.
Yeah.
You've also done that professionally through internships, experiences. Talk a little bit about kind of your personal ambition, the things that you find is challenging and interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I was an economics major undergrad, so I think when I was early on in my college career, the natural thing was to try and pursue an internship in finance. So I worked at a middle market private equity firm on their business development team and had an incredible experience. I mean, I was like a young college kid being able to be like on this investment banking outreach calls, learning about all types, different sorts of businesses, and it kind of gave me an appreciation for what goes into like deal structures, the thought process behind that. And so it was an incredible experience. And then the following summer, I worked for Morgan Stanley in their wealth management team. I was basically like an equity research analyst. And so it was an incredible time for me just using like my economics background to be able to like see what macroeconomic factors push and pulled the market in different ways and how that affected the way we were like reaching out to clients. And loved both those internships, but you know, being a basketball guy and a sports fanatic, I was like, I love putting in, you know, hours and time into something. I might as well try and do something with the sports as the outcome. And then I was lucky enough to work the next summer at the NBA and on their new business ventures team, basically venture capital, I guess, for the NBA, looking at investing in ideas and companies and businesses that both helped the NBA's product grow while also being good financial investments as well. And that was incredible. And then this past summer, I was in Dallas, Texas, helping start a sports consulting firm, trying to figure out ways to get public funding for new stadiums, helping through ownership changes, things of that matter. And yeah, then I've been able to do it this year through a mentor study program, which we can talk more about, but an incredible part of Fuqua's curriculum where I'm working with the executive chairman of the firm I was with this summer on trying to build a sports PE fund. So it's been super cool to use the curriculum I'm learning right now in school and then be able to like translate that to what I'm building through our mentor study program as well. So I guess when you do 6 years of straight of college, you have a lot of room for different internships, but I just feel like every opportunity I've gained such good insights and new networks of people. I lived in different places in New York for the NBA and Dallas this summer, and just while they definitely seem a little daunting at certain times, I feel like I've learned so much about what it is I want to do and all different industries. So yeah, just grateful for sure.
That's incredible, Neal. How old are you?
I just turned 24. Yeah.
So, you know, 2 Duke degrees, a Stanford degree, all these incredible experiences before the age of 24. When this airs, you know, 20 years from now, when you're on 60 Minutes, I'll have had the privilege of being at the early stage of the impact you will have on this world. Let's talk about teams.
Yeah.
You've been on world-class teams really your whole life, whether they're athletically, professionally. And here at Fuqua, we have this phrase, Team Fuqua, that is real. And so talk to us a little bit about your time on teams in your life and maybe a focus on your teams here at Duke, both on the court and in the Fuqua classroom.
Yeah, I think it's incredible that my Fuqua teams, I have this interesting dynamic where in the morning I go to class and I have like my teams there that I'm working with. Then I come up the hill to practice in the afternoon and I have my team that I'm with as well. I'm the younger one in the morning and I'm the uncle in the afternoon. But I think at Fuqua, what makes it such an incredible, unique place is you have people from all sorts of backgrounds that have done incredible things and lived all over the world. And so I feel lucky to be a part of this team because I get to hear and understand people's experiences that I didn't get to experience myself. And I feel like by being part of that, you're able to learn and grow from what other people have to say in their own perspectives. So I think that's, in Fuqua, that's been the best thing, is just these incredible individuals that are going to do incredibly successful things as well. And just to be able to be a small part of their journey is a blessing. And then on the basketball team, obviously Duke, we have incredible talent top to bottom. And so for me to just be able to kind of find a role in being able to help these younger guys, now that I've been around and played basically every college team, 10 times over now, to be able to show them and give them little, nuggets of information of this is how a team's going to guard, or we have a long season, there's going to be ups and downs, and how do you stay poised and stable when, at Duke especially, if we win a game, we're the best thing ever, and if you lose a game, we're the worst team ever. So being able to just try and give tangible advice to these young guys about how to succeed. And honestly, I'm just the lucky one to be able to be a part of it, and for them to be open to hearing what it is I have to say. And so and I'm very, very blessed for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Neal, one of our values at Fuqua is supportive ambition, right? Yeah. And so you have some world-class talent here on the court that you are grinding every day in practice. And then also in the hotel rooms, on the away games, on the bench, trying to help them be the best version of themselves, elevating them to be the best version of themselves. That, to me, is what Team Fuqua is about. And you do that certainly over at Fuqua, but you do it here too. And Duke is lucky that you get to play that role, but it's a really important role.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, I feel like I'm the lucky one to be able to even be here. So sometimes I have to pinch myself that I am in the place I am, and obviously I'm very lucky. So I feel like the least I can do is try and help out and make the most of my experience, because I know how many people would die to be in the position I'm in, for sure.
Well, let's talk a little about the intersection of your Fuqua hat and your hat on the team. So you're talking about a little bit about a story where you were learning something in the classroom in one of your electives here in the MBA program.
Yep.
That translates to a road trip with one of your teammates here at Duke. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think the story really epitomizes my experience here, and also just the beauty of Duke and Fuqua and Duke basketball. So I'm in the class called Emerging Market Strategy. It's been fantastic, basically talking about how companies, both big and small, can go into underdeveloped countries and try and, whether they succeed or not, amongst political unrest, corruption, voids in the market, whatever it may be. And specifically, we were talking about a class in Africa, specifically in Uganda and South Sudan, about an oil company from Britain that's trying to go into this national park, the Virunga National Park, because they see an opportunity to make all this money. And so we played a game. We were at Virginia, and we're on the flight home. I don't know, it's probably 2 a.m, whatever. And I'm sitting next to one of our star freshmen, Kaman Malawak, who's from South Sudan. And he saw what I was reading, and we've become incredibly close. And he has one of the most unique, incredible life stories there ever could be. But I get to hear his perspective on growing up. There's a lake in the national park called Lake Victoria where his aunt had a house, and so he's telling me from his perspective how this really unfolded in real time in front of him. And then we get back, whatever. I go to class the next morning, and I get to go talk about the perspective of my own reading of the case, combined with my teammates. And then the classroom is filled with people from all over the world who have worked in these different types of markets, are professors, invested in, has tangible experience in these sort of things. And so I just think it's a pretty incredibly unique scenario where I get to learn with incredible people from all over the world and have my own teammates, firsthand experience. So it's just kind of the combination of my basketball and school and really how things are pretty intertwined. Yeah.
Well, I imagine the workload for you might be a little bit different as a 24, 25-year-old MBA student at Fuqua versus a freshman that is in college for the first time. Right. Talk about that challenge of balancing literally a full-time job as a student athlete with 2 degrees, an MMS degree at Fuqua and then an MBA degree at Fuqua in a really accelerated timeline. How do you do it?
Well, I think one of the best things I've actually learned through my time at Fuqua, which I think will prepare me and probably my classmates for the real world, is just the ability to take large amounts of information or tasks and turn them into succinct, tangible things that you can walk away with and know it's critical or important. So I feel like even in our case studies, right, we're assigned 20, 30-page readings, and then we have to come to class with our own argument of what we think the most important highlights are. And I think that skill set almost translates to also the workload, right? I have to understand if I'm going to be gone for the next 5 days on the road, right? I need to do work now that's going to be important, a week from now. So I think time management, the ability to understand what is important here and now, and the difference between important and urgent, or urgent and important, kind of categorizing things, is something that I've tried to do. But I heard a quote. It's like it's hard for you to complain, and there's a lot on the table when your goal was to eat. So I mean, I can't complain. It's the position I want to be in, and so I feel like I'm lucky to have that sort of workload for sure.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. Your time at Duke is a family affair, right? So
yeah.
your brother Daniel had the awesome privilege of watching him as an MMS student, as a MBA student at Fuqua, now at Goldman, also a graduate assistant on the team.
Yep.
Your mom, Marianne, is a mainstay at the Washington Duke Hotel.
That's for sure.
Bought my wife and I a drink at our anniversary. Talk about how this has become really a place where it's become your home.
For sure. And I think you can add Ryan Young as our extended family now. They're basically like our
fourth
brother and roommate, yes. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, like, again, Duke is a place I'd never been to before, and just in 2 short years now, it feels like I have an incredible support group of people that have become like family, whether that's in the Fuqua community or in the basketball community. But I'm very lucky to have Ryan and my brother that went through this experience as well, and to be able to hear their thoughts on how to best maximize and get everything I can out of it. I feel like I'm lucky because Fuqua family is something that's going to, endure my time here, and everyone's been so, including the basketball program, but allowed me to join with open arms. And so I'm just lucky to be a part of such an incredible and ongoing tradition, both in basketball and in school.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that really impresses me is that I think that you seem to be all in all aspects of your life, right? And so you walk in the halls of Fuqua, and I'll see you with some of your NBA teammates, obviously here on the court. Where does that come from, of being all in and not letting an area of your life drop? Like, that is really unique. Your ambition, your versatility, your work ethic, your commitment to being the best version of yourself. Like, is that something that has always been part of who you are? Is that something learned? A little bit of both?
I think it's definitely learned. And when you say nothing in your life drops, I think that's definitely not true. I think someone has to drop. I think the thing that you have to realize, or I've realized, is there has to be sacrifices, and you have to prioritize what is important to you. And so for me, trying to excel at the highest level in athletics and academics, in my faith and with my family and my relationships, like, those to me are the most important things. So other stuff, like free time or whatever it may be, may have to take a back seat. But I think I just found those are the things that give me energy and give me life. And so I'm willing to invest time into those, because I feel like the return that I get from it, selfishly, is better than anything else I could do. So I feel like, just trying to understand what is important to you and fuels your fire is the most important thing. Yeah.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah.